How's it going, guys? My name is Zach with the Movie Castle, and today we're going to be continuing my Sharks of Summer series. Sharks of Summer is a series I do around here where once a week, at least once during the summer, I take a look at a shark movie. And today we're going to be looking at Shark Lake. This is from 2015, directed by Jerry Dugan, and stars Dolph Lundgren. Also, Sara Malakul, who we had previously seen in Sharks of Summer with Roger Corman's Sharktopus, and we also have Michael Aaron Milligan. Not gonna lie, this isn't a great movie. It's one of those that's functional. It's not really bad. It moves along at an okay enough pace, but there's just nothing really special or surprising about it. It's a very flat shark movie, and I wish it popped because I found myself being kind of bored with it. First things first, this is a serious shark movie, which is kind of a death sentence to shark movies. Like, when you want to be a serious shark movie, you can either scare me or thrill me or at least try to keep me entertained. A lot of shark movies just kind of try to be big over the top and cheesy. And this movie kind of does that, but in a weird way, where like the first half of this movie feels like two completely different movies running simultaneously. Like, you have Dolph Lundgren and the cop, your main characters, and they're kind of doing a standard procedural cop thing, which I was never a big fan of, so I wasn't really engaged with this story. And then in what feels like a completely separate movie, you have your goofy shark kills. You get these partying teenagers that are going to get picked off by the shark, and boy, does this not match the procedural cop half of this. It's crazy. Eventually, they will merge, though, and the thing is, the plot is super predictable. The scientist is going to be like, it's a shark, and then they're going to go and try to kill it around the same time Dolph is. And you know, like the goofy Shark Hunter TV guy, he's gonna be some laughs, but he's not gonna be helpful, and, you know, whatever. We're following the very same exact standard path, but we're not cheesy, we're not big, and we're not over the top. And like, this movie, it has some problems in regards to action. Like, the big car chase at the beginning has a bunch of weird cuts, and it doesn't really track super well. It's just a little hard when they do action to, you know, get invested in it, because it doesn't really show it in a great way. It's probably the budget keeping them from getting the shots they want. I don't know. But then also when, like, people get eaten by the sharks, that's not on screen much. I mean, it's a little bit more at the end, but they'll do a shark kill and cut away pretty quick, and I'm like, that's where you need to save your budget for. And then on top of that, there's plot things, you know, like Dolph Lundgren has this plot with these gangsters, which is wrapped up comically quickly at the end. And there's this thing with how the sharks even got in the lake that is not made super clear. I'll talk about that later. But I think the biggest thing is your characters are mostly pretty flat. Like, the cop and Dolph Lundgren both just wants what's best for this little girl, which is a good goal, sure, but that's most of their personality, and I really wish they had more to work with. And when you get the goofy scientist guy and the goofy TV guy, they at least try to bring some levity here, but like the scientist and the policewoman, like, they try to have a bit of a romance, and she's like, are you flirting with me? Don't do that. And it comes off as so awkward and doesn't really do much for the movie. Yeah, it's not great. We don't get the big over-the-top shark goofiness. The action sequences don't play well. The plot's formulaic. I didn't care for most of the characters, and that's kind of the danger when you don't fall back on being a goofy shark movies. You have to actually be good, and a lot of these shark movies aren't that good. So yeah, it was one that I had to kind of just sit through. I didn't particularly care for, but I didn't think it was the worst thing ever, and I thought most of it was okay, but Yeah, it's not one of the better ones. I mean, it's totally watchable. If you're big Dolph Lundgren fans, go ahead. You know, because sometimes when they have a big star, he's not in the movie much. Dolph Lundgren is actually in the movie for a substantial amount of time, so that's good at least. Overall, not the best, but still watchable. And if you want something more on the serious side, maybe try this, but yeah, whatever. Anyway, in order to analyze it further, let's go ahead and take a look at the plot. I'm not going to do any major spoilers, but I do want to analyze a few things, and, you know, I'll be avoiding the end, but let's go ahead and dive in. Anyway, we open up with that chase sequence. The police are after Dolph Lundgren. They burst into his cabin and find that he's got a lot of exotic animals that he's illegally selling, and to their terror, it turns out he's left his child unsupervised in this cabin. They chase him down in this van, he crashes into the water, and they arrest him. As I said earlier, chase sequence isn't the best, but whatever. When they find out the kid's going to be put in the foster care system, the main cop woman is going to decide to adopt her and is going to look after her for 5 years. And that's when we cut to Dolph Lundgren getting out of prison, and the policewoman is freaked out. She has a good, positive relationship with this kid and is scared that, you know, Dolph Lundgren might try something. And yeah, I mean, the possibility of a kidnapping, sure, that's a thing, but he applies for supervised visits. And I'm like, that's not bad. Like, he's not trying to take the custody back or anything, and he's not the worst criminal ever. He's not like a murderer or anything. He just wants supervised visits to his biological daughter. That's okay. But she's of course freaking out about it and going to her boss to try to stop this, when her boss is the head of the cops and nothing to do with the custody court, and I don't know why he would be able to. Yeah, her freaking out here just doesn't really make her character seem that smart. You know, whatever. Anyway, while all this is going on in what feels like a totally separate movie, the sharks are in the lake and they're picking off teens. Fun fact, the lake is crystal clear. I don't know why, but whenever they go underwater, these are the clearest shots in the movie. Later on, they'll be outside in the darkness, and it's like pitch black, and you can't see the characters well, and I'm like, why are there a bunch of lights in the lake? Did they film this in a pool? Whatever. The sharks pick off people. It's not super fun because they don't have the budget, and they didn't put a lot of time into making this wacky, but whatever, the sharks are killing people. They'll meet a scientist, and the scientist will be like, oh yeah, these are bull sharks, they can live in this type of water, and, you know, they begin to devise a plan slowly. Because, yeah, that's what really gets me, is it takes them so long to get to the shark hunting, and there's so much talk about the daughter. It feels like the main characters aren't really doing much until the end of the movie. And until then, we have this TV guy who's going to be hunting the sharks, who you know isn't going to actually get him because he's not the main character. He's good for a few laughs. Another thing I don't like, the main girl is like, we can't let this TV guy do this because he's just in it for the money. And I'm like, okay, main girl, yeah, he's in it for the money, but he's offering to solve a problem for you that you are very ill-equipped for. You're just regular cops, you can't hunt a shark. He's going to solve your problem for free. Yeah, no, let him do it. Why not? But whatever, she's freaking out about that. And then we eventually check back in with Dolph Lundgren, and it turns out the gangsters that he was selling these animals to, that was their shark, and he somehow lost it in the lake, and now they say, hey, either give us a refund, but of course he doesn't have the money, or get us the shark. And right there, there's just so much going on finding out that it was Dolph's shark. Like, okay, it's a huge coincidence that the shark was in the lake for 5 years, and it just never caused any trouble till right when Dolph got out of prison. But also, why is Dolph's shark in the lake? if he was going to give it to this gangster, wouldn't it have been in his cabin with all the other animals? And this bugged me so much during the movie. I was like, what, did he keep it chained up in the lake behind his house or something? Why would him going to prison cause the shark to be in the lake instead of in his house? And I literally had to pause the movie, think about it for a while, and then realize, oh yeah, Dolph's van crashed into the lake. Maybe the shark was in the back of the van. And that's what it's supposed to be. But there's no good shot of it. I actually had to go back and watch the beginning again, and there's no shot of the shark being in the back of the van, but the shark is in the background after the van crashes. Now, I get sometimes being subtle, but this is setting up Dolph Lundgren's plot. You can't be subtle about that. You needed multiple shots of the shark in the back of the van, and then you needed to show it swimming out of the van, but whatever. So Dolph is going to go and try to catch the shark right as the police people are going, and they're going to try to catch the shark as well. And we all know where this is going, and there's not really much surprises towards the end of it. It plays out relatively formulaically, but at least at the end of the movie, the sharks are on screen more, and they actually do a little bit. It's just, yeah, it's a movie that's flat, and that's about all you can say with it. Overall, if you want to watch this one, it's okay, it's made well enough, it's totally passable. It's just not got anything special with it, and at the end of the day, I was kind of bored watching it. Whatever though, it's fine. Anyway, to everyone who's watched so far, thank you for watching. To everyone who's liked and subscribed, thank you. You really are helping the channel out. I'll leave a relevant playlist on the bottom. This should be my Sharks playlist, where you can see me review other shark movies like Sharktopus. Anyway, have a good day. I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Relevant playlist on the bottom. Have a good day now.